Nephi, where's the genealogy? Ever wondered why Nephi didn't include his father Lehi's genealogy in the Book of Mormon, even though the whole family risked their wealth and even their lives just to get that very genealogy? Most prophets began their record with a genealogy. It was their very way of establishing identity, authority, and divine lineage. From Adam in Genesis 5 and Moses 6, to Ether, back to Jared in Ether chapter 1, and Christ in Matthew chapter 1 and Luke chapter 3, scriptures are filled with these sacred family records. Nephi, however, made a rare exception in First Nephi chapter 6, choosing to focus his record on the things of God rather than his genealogy. Let's dig into this sacred mystery. In a scripture reference found in First Nephi chapter 5 verses 14 to 16, Lehi reads the brass plates and finds out, surprise, he's a descendant of Joseph of Egypt through Manasseh. This is a big deal. It links him to a covenant blessing, priesthood lineage, and Israelite identity. So, why doesn't Nephi include that precious genealogy in his writing? Well, he might have, just not in that part of what we have today. In a scripture reference found in First Nephi chapter 6 verse 1, Nephi straight up tells us, "And now I, Nephi, do not give the genealogy of my fathers in this part of my record, neither at any time shall I give it after upon these plates which I am writing, for it is given in the record which has been kept by my father. Wherefore I do not write it in this work." At around 590 BC, Nephi was commanded to create plates. Now we call the large plates of Nephi. In a scripture reference found in First Nephi chapter 19, verses 1 and 2, Nephi said, "And it came to pass that the Lord commanded me, wherefore I did make plates of ore that I might engraven upon them the record of my people. And after the plates which I made, I did engraven the record of my father, and also our journeyings in the wilderness and the prophecies of my father. And also many of mine own prophecies have I engraven upon them. And I knew not at the time when I made them that I should be commanded of the Lord to make these plates. Wherefore, the record of my father and the genealogy of his fathers and the more part of our proceedings in the wilderness are engraven upon those first plates of which I have spoken. Wherefore, the things which transpired before I made these plates are, of a truth, more particularly made mention upon the first plates. So Nephi didn't ignore the family tree, he just stored it somewhere else. The genealogy was recorded on the large plates, while the small plates focused on the sacred stuff. So let's establish the time gap between those two plates. At around 590 BC, Nephi was commanded by the Lord to create the large plates, as we call them. Around 20 years after, he was then commanded to create another set of plates, which we call now the small plates. In a scripture reference found in 2 Nephi chapter 5, verses 28 to 30, we read, "And 30 years had passed away from the time we left Jerusalem, and I, Nephi, had kept the record upon my plates, which I had made of my people thus far. And it came to pass that the Lord had said unto me, Make other plates," meaning the small plates, "and thou shalt engraven many things upon them, which are good in my sight, for the profit of thy people." So here's the takeaway. Nephi didn't give us Lehi's genealogy, not because it wasn't important, but because something was even more important. In a scripture reference found in First Nephi chapter 6, verse 4, Nephi said, "The purpose of his writing is to persuade men to come unto the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob and be saved." So that is why Nephi chose to skip who begat whom and focused on who brings us home. If you've got questions, drop them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this content, give us a thumbs up and smash that share button. And after that, you can stop watching this and go ahead and read your scriptures.